Today, our journey begins in one of the most unlikely places on Earth, the Kubuqi Desert in China. There was a time when people didn't just call this place a desert, they called it the Sea of Death, because life here was disappearing, little by little. Every year, vast amounts of fertile land were swallowed by sand, farms vanished, roads disappeared. Entire communities were forced to leave their homes. What was once productive land slowly turned into barren desert. This process has a name: desertification, when healthy land gradually becomes dry, damaged, and unable to support life. And the Kubuqi Desert was one of the world's biggest examples. For years, it kept expanding. It seemed unstoppable. Governments and experts tried many solutions. They planted trees, built sand control systems, and invested huge amounts of money. But the desert kept moving forward. Then, one man came forward with an idea that sounded impossible. His name was Wang Wenbiao. At first, people laughed at him. But Wang believed nature could be repaired if people worked with it instead of against it. So he invested his own money, borrowed more, and began an ambitious mission. He brought in bulldozers, workers, and started creating small square barriers across the sand using dry shrubs and brush. Inside those protected squares, they planted willow trees. Why willow trees? Because willow roots can grow deep underground in search of water, surviving where many other plants cannot. But planting trees in a desert is never easy. Strong winds blasted the young trees, sand buried them, moisture disappeared almost instantly. So Wang's team improved the system. The brush barriers slowed the wind, trapped moisture, and gave the seedlings a chance to survive. Slowly, some of the trees began to live. Then something amazing happened. As roots spread underground, the moving sand started to stabilize. For the first time, the impossible seemed possible, but another problem remained. How do you maintain millions of trees across a massive desert? Hiring enough workers would be extremely expensive and slow. So the next solution came from an unexpected source. A special breed known as Rex rabbits was introduced. These rabbits were valuable for their soft fur, creating a new source of income for local families. But their real value was ecological. Rex rabbits loved eating the soft new shoots growing from willow trees. That natural trimming process helped the trees grow thicker, stronger trunks. In other words, the rabbits were doing maintenance work automatically. And there was more. Their manure became natural fertilizer, helping restore nutrients to the dry soil. Seeds that passed through them helped grasses spread naturally. Soon, areas once covered in bare sand began growing vegetation. Grass returned, soil improved, wind erosion slowed, moisture stayed in the ground longer. A living ecosystem was forming. And this transformation didn't just help the environment, it changed people's lives. Local families were encouraged to raise rabbits and participate in restoration projects. New businesses appeared, income increased. Communities that had once abandoned the region began returning. What was once called the Sea of Death was turning green. But Wang Wenbiao didn't stop there. He helped bring renewable energy into the desert too. Massive solar farms were built across the landscape. These solar panels generated clean electricity for hundreds of thousands of people. But they also created another surprising benefit. They reduced wind speeds and created shade. That shade helped grasses grow underneath. Those grasses then supported animals and local agriculture. Technology and nature were now working together. Today, the Kubuqi model has inspired projects in parts of Spain, Africa, and the Middle East. And the biggest lesson from this story is simple. Sometimes the ideas people laugh at first become the ideas that change the world. If others doubt your vision, that doesn't mean you should quit. Because many of the greatest successes in history started as something people thought would never work. The real question is, will you stop because others laughed? Or keep going until they applaud? If you enjoyed this story, subscribe for more real stories about innovation, nature, and human determination.